Welcome to Stocks to Watch, our exclusive one-on-one series with executives to help you make informed investment decisions. I'm Ashley Berry, and we're welcoming Francis McDonald, CEO and director of LIFFF, a mineral exploration company engaged in the acquisition, exploration, and development of lithium pegmatite projects in Canada. They're listed on the TSXV as LIFFF, the OTCQX as LIFFF, and the Frankfurt Exchange as WS0. Welcome, Francis.
Thanks for having me, Ashley. Great to be here.
Great to have you. So, Francis, for our viewers who are not yet familiar with LIFFF, perhaps you could tell us more about the company, the story behind its inception, and the distinct capabilities today.
Sure. So I think you touched on some of the points in the intro, so I'll reiterate those. As LIFFF is focused on the exploration and development of lithium deposits in Canada. And we have three projects in our portfolio. So our Yellowknife project is our flagship asset. And we are doing a big drill program this year. We've completed 33,000 meters of drilling. And we're well on our way to coming out with a inferred resource estimate. So defining how much lithium we have in the ground. And that will be coming along next year.
Yeah, that's certainly a significant number. We understand, lithium is a relatively rare element, but critical for rechargeable batteries for electronics. Perhaps you could shed some light on the long-term opportunities in the market, both in the near and long terms.
Sure. So lithium is a really interesting commodity because we as humanity have never needed it in the quantities that we need it right now. So historically, it was used in ceramics and greases. And so we have this whole electric vehicle transition that's happening at the moment that requires a lot of lithium to create the lithium ion batteries that go into those vehicles. So because humanity's never needed this commodity, we've never gone out and looked for it. And so, the deposits just aren't there. So it's an exciting spot to be in as an exploration geologist, which is my background, because here you have something that we need a lot of, and we've never looked for it. It is relatively abundant compared to other elements that we look for, like gold. So it's a lot easier to find than things like gold that we've been looking for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. And I would say the long-term opportunities here are because we are going to transition to electric vehicles. We will be phasing out internal combustion engines. And this is probably a 50-year thematic that we are really at the beginning of. So this is here to stay, and the lithium demand is going to keep growing over the next decades.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. How do you plan to leverage these opportunities and create value for shareholders specifically? Maybe you could walk us through your current projects and their potential, as well as what initially attracted you to these projects and lithium in general.
Sure. So the long-term value proposition is creating value through exploration and defining lithium resources. And how does that create value? It's because the bigger fish in the pond, no one knows where this lithium is going to come from to create these batteries. And so when I say that, I go right to the top. So the car producers, they don't know where the lithium is going to come from. It's kind of like a feeding frenzy. They're just looking for offtake agreements, so securing lithium from mines, basically. And then you have the lithium miners themselves, which they have been producing lithium, but they don't know where they're going to double their production. So owning the lithium resources right now has a massive value because people will pay a lot of money for it, and in a lot of cases overpay for those resources. And for LIFFF specifically, our Yellowknife project, like I was saying, is our flagship asset. And what attracted us to this area is that it was thought to be one of the largest lithium resources in the Western world in the 70s and 80s. And so there's been a long history of lithium exploration in the area. Massive deposits, they stick out of the ground. You can literally see them from space. And so it's really easy to see and visualize how big these deposits can be because they literally stick out of the ground. So that's obviously a very attractive thing to go after, or attractive project to go after. We spent quite a bit of time finalizing an acquisition there. It was held by a private owner who didn't want to talk to anybody for 30 years. And it's been off everybody's radar since the 1980s, which it's kind of like a diamond in the rough that we came across.
Absolutely. I think it's really interesting when you say it's sticking out of the ground. So I'd like to actually hear a little bit more about this. So where exactly in Canada is it, just for reference? And when you say it's sticking out of the ground, does that make it easier? Because I'm thinking about the projections, like even in 2033, the popularity of this. And you're saying that you can actually see that. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. It's fascinating.
Sure. So just where we are in Canada, so we're just outside the city of Yellowknife, and this is the capital of the territory of the Northwest Territories. So it's a population center. It's about 20,000 people, and we are just outside of town. So there's 7 different lithium deposits within 60 kilometers of the city, and they're within 5 kilometers of a paved highway. So there's really 2 parts to the Yellowknife story for LIFFF, and it's the massive potential for one of the largest lithium resources in North America. So how much lithium is in the ground, but it's also that it's close to existing infrastructure, and we can easily get this lithium out of the ground and ship a product to other markets in North America. So it's really a 2-pronged approach, or there's 2 big pillars to the value. And then to the second part of the question about how when they stick out of the ground. So they're like big white veins that cross the landscape, and they're up to 40 meters wide. And for our American friends in the audience, 120 feet wide. And so it's pretty hard to miss them. It's like a big white mountain sticking out of the ground that goes for 30 meters wide, goes up to 2 kilometers long. So pretty easy to see. And when they stick out of the ground like that, you can get a really good idea of the concentration of lithium at surface. Because it's easy, you just crack some rock off and say, okay, do it systematically, and you get an idea of the grade or the concentration. And then the geometric dimensions, you can see 2 dimensions. You can see a length and you can see a width. And what we're looking for in terms of a size of deposit, it really comes down to the 3rd dimension, is how far into the earth those big white veins are extending. And that's what we've been focusing on this drill program, is just systematically drilling underneath these big white outcrops. And we are defining a massive lithium resource at the moment.
It really sounds like a fascinating exploration process. What are the next steps here? And also, do you have sufficient liquidity to carry on with your exploration program there?
Sure. So the next steps are to continue drilling. And the idea for us is we want to show the biggest resource that we can. And we want to show that this is world class, because my opinion is that it doesn't make much sense to put out a small resource estimate and then incrementally grow it, because investors want to see something big. They want to see something world class. And right now in the lithium space, that threshold is really 100 million tons of ore. And so that's kind of what we're shooting for. That's kind of the target, and we think we can get there. So if we can prove out a resource like that, that really would make this one of the largest lithium resources in North America. So the plan in order to get there is we have to drill more. So we have to keep extending the footprint of the deposit, and we have to extend it down into the earth. So that's the plan right now. And currently we have about $12 million in cash in the bank. And it's a decent amount, but at some point we will need to bring in some more money in order to continue the drill program at the speed that we've been doing it.
Certainly a significant number. Speaking of which, for those that are considering investing in your company, what would you say to them?
I think it's a really exciting time, because we know there is a big lithium resource there. Like I was saying, it sticks out of the ground, and the question is just how deep does it go into the 3rd dimension. So we know it's there. It's backstopped by satellite imagery. You can go on Google Earth yourself and zoom into the area and see the thing sticking out of the ground. So it will be exciting. We've been releasing drill results every week, and so you can see this thing growing in real time almost. And I think we will show that this is one of the largest lithium resources in North America. So I think that's, if you like lithium, if you believe in the green energy transition, if you think EVs are here to stay, then you want to own lithium stocks. And this is one of the best ones out there.
Sounds like a very encouraging operation. Francis McDonald, CEO and director of LIFFF Power, again, listed on TSXV as LIFFF. Thank you so much for your time and really for your thorough explanation here. And we definitely look forward to further updates from your company. Thanks, Francis.
Thanks a lot.